Being a UFC champion is a feat only a very small percentage of the UFC roster will ever accomplish. Unfortunately for some fighters, having 12 pounds of UFC gold wrapped around their waist is something that will never happen. This is not due to a lack of talent or effort, but more so the acting champion was just a better fighter on the particular night of the championship fight. In this video, we are going to discuss 10 fighters you never thought would be UFC champions. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure to stick to the end. Oh, and please, before starting the video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Number 10, Yoel Romero. One of the scariest fighters in MMA has somehow failed to raise aloft a UFC title, with Yoel Romero having not one but 3 cracks at a title in the octagon. His inability to consistently make weight prevented him from becoming a UFC champion after he finished Luke Rockhold. Weighing heavy made him ineligible to win the belt at UFC 221. Romero is still the division's most feared fighter, even at the age of 43. Number 9, John Fitch. Smothering wrestler and aka stalwart Fitch was a long-standing frontrunner in the UFC's welterweight division for years, playing second fiddle to only Georges St. Pierre at 170 pounds. He recently won the vacant World Series of Fighting (WSOF) welterweight title over João Zeferino. But Finch was never able to win UFC gold despite his long run near the top. Number 8, Joseph Benavidez. Suppose Demetrius Johnson and Davison Figueiredo were not in the UFC. In that case, Joseph Benavidez could have been a champion in the flyweight division because the two men were adversaries of Benavidez in his quest for a title. In their meeting, the Brazilian gifted him with a second-round stoppage, followed by a first-round rear-naked choke when they ran it back 4 months later, which, of course, foiled his championship aspirations. Number 7, Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber is another legend of the sport to never win a UFC title, despite 4 attempts. He first fought Dominic Cruz for the bantamweight title at UFC 132, but he couldn't keep up with the Dominator's pace and technicality and lost via unanimous decision. Faber rematched Barro for the undisputed title at UFC 169, but the Brazilian knocked him out on this occasion. His last UFC title fight came at UFC 199, where he lost via unanimous decision to Dominic Cruz again. Number 6, Chael Sonnen. Chael is credited with participating in one of the most memorable fights in UFC history, a battle with middleweight champion Anderson Silva at UFC 117. Unfortunately, the second bout was not anything like the first, as Silva finished Sonnen with strikes in the opening round to retain his title. Sonnen competed 7 more times in his career and then retired from MMA in April 2019 with a 31-17-1 record. Number 5, Kenny Florian. Kenny Florian has defeated some great fighters inside the octagon, but he always fell short in a title fight. Kenny Florian has fought 3 title fights against Sean Shirk, BJ Penn, and Jose Aldo, but he just couldn't capture the belt in any of the fights. He is an exceptional fighter and a great jiu-jitsu artist, but he was just unlucky. Number 4, Dan Henderson. Henderson is another fighter who probably had his best years in Pride, where he won both the middleweight and light heavyweight championships. During his career, he has had a tremendous 8 wins over fighters who held UFC titles. Sadly for Henderson though, none of them came in UFC title fights. Henderson lost his only 2 cracks at UFC crowns. Number 3, Alexander Gustafsson. Alexander Gustafsson's first fight against Jon Jones at UFC 165 was recently inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Despite many fans believing Alexander had done enough to win, the decision victory would be red for Jones. Gustafsson would challenge for gold again against Daniel Cormier at UFC 192. A Fight of the Year contender as well, Gustafsson would lose yet another decision against the smaller man in DC. Gustafsson's final title fight would come at UFC 232 in a rematch with Jones, but this fight ended in definitive fashion with a KO victory for Bones. Number 2. Alistair Overeem. Since he became a professional fighter in 1999, he succeeded to earn Strikeforce, Dream, and K1 championships, becoming the first fighter to hold world titles in MMA and K1 kickboxing at the same time. Despite having a stellar MMA career, unfortunately, he did not succeed to add a UFC title to his honors, as he ended his dream of becoming a UFC champion when he was released from the UFC after a TKO defeat to Alexander Volkov in February of 2021 at UFC Vegas 18. And therefore, his nearly 10-year run with the MMA promotion was finished. Number 1. Nate Diaz. He is one of the UFC's most popular fighters, but Nate Diaz has yet to wear gold. His one attempt came in 2012 against Benson Henderson. Diaz made it to the cards, but Henderson got his hand raised on that night. And since then, he has never gotten another chance at the belt. Diaz met Conor McGregor at UFC 196 in a welterweight clash, and he upended the superstar to shock the world. Diaz would lose the rematch to McGregor, but his status as one of the sport's current stars was locked in during that first contest. Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. This was all for today. We hoped you liked the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.